So while in Crooksville, we had the opportunity to lead 2 VBSs. One was in the morning VBS, which was like a regular church VBS. We ended up doing it in a park, which is really cool. And then after that, we would go and do a night VBS, which is at a place called Lifewell. And it was a place where our Pastor Gay, our host pastor, she has kids that come to her, and she feeds them and has all these activities for them. And she invited us to come and teach VBS for them too, so that was really special.
So for the music, we had 3 different songs that we decided to do, which was My Lighthouse, the theme song, which is I'm Trusting You, I think, and then the Hippo song. Now on the first day, kids were kind of still getting used to it, but as we went on, they really enjoyed it, really had fun with the actions.
I was in charge of Imagination Station, and I got to lead all the crafts, and I think the kids were really responsive to the crafts, and kids like to do things, and I always had fun things like painting and hand puppets, and then we always had like a coloring sheet in the day which said the Bible verse and the Bible point on it, and I thought that was very special for them to have that memory of the Bible point each day, because we couldn't bring Bible buddies along, so they were able to have at least some reminder of what we taught each day.
So I led the games at both groups, and the kids actually really seemed to enjoy the games a lot. We had some water games and some tag games, and they really just loved running around, and I think their parents appreciated their energies getting drained because some of those parents had their hands full of just the crazy kids, but they really liked the games and everything in general on VBS.
I was in charge of Bible Adventure at both VBSs, and the first day we talked about how Pharaoh wouldn't let the Israelites go, and then he finally did, and we talked about the Israelites living in the wilderness, and we talked about Jesus building a memorial, or the Israelites building a memorial for Jesus. And as the week went on, the kids definitely got more interested, and they were more interactive within it. There were a couple kids who asked about the story more and really got intrigued with what we were learning about.
To wrap things up, the kids were on the last day, they were very into it. They were singing songs. I bet you could hear from miles away kids saying, "God is good," and fist bumps all around. And it was a great experience for the kids. And for us as well, we bonded with so many kids and so many parents of those children. And it was a good all-around experience for all of us.
When life is good, God is good!
Okay, you're good.
Started the building process, which was really fun. We started to work as a team by just figuring out the problems that we had to do to put the post back up and to put the planks on and even to put the railings on. That was probably the trickiest part. We had to splice some of the decks or some of the railings together, and because they weren't long enough for some parts, and yeah.
In the middle of the building process, a couple of us really got to connect with Al, learned a little bit about his story. He had cancer, and his wife had some medical problems they were going through, so I didn't get to see too much of the building process because they were in the emergency room, but when they were there, he was really kind. He helped us out with giving us some cold water and was always offering his help, and he also had a good conversation with a couple of us, really connecting and getting a little bit more about him and him getting to know a little bit more about us.
And then while we did all this, we had a ton of fun moments. A lot of what we like to say is one moment with Steve, where he kind of cut into the deck while he was trying to cut off some boards that were a little too long. And then there's some more, like he signed that later, and we did the railings, and that kind of got messed up, and we had to like just sort of like get it in any way we could. And then there's stuff like we lost like 3 bits off of our power drills, which was just like chaos at first, but now looking back, we all just sort of like laugh at it.
And then after all was said and done, the deck was finally finished, and Al was, like Caleb said, so kind and so he really was very appreciative of what we did, and the look on his face after the deck was finished was just amazing. And even though we were out there all day, he came out, and every time he came out, he always said, "I can't believe that you guys are doing this. I'm so thankful for everything that you've done." And I think it really hit him hard, and I think he was very appreciative.
We also, all of us got to sign our names to the deck, which was a really nice thing that he wanted us to be remembered in this deck, which was, I thought, a really nice thing.
We also met this lady named Chris who called out to the local paper and the local news, who came out and did a story on us, and she even went over, signed her name, and put the date, and said that every single time it would fade, she would go and write back over our names so that we stay remembered on that deck.
I got to help out with the retired teachers luncheon. Our crew got to move the tables and chairs around, and we had to move it around a lot because they kept changing the requirement. Then we got to decorate. We got to serve the teachers, and then we got to eat with them, which was really fun. And we got to learn about their past classes and struggles, and it was really fun.
We went to Rehoboth, which is like a clothing drive that people can donate clothing to, and then people can come pick up clothing for free if they needed it. And this was run by a gal named Judy, and she was the organist at the church we stayed.
So after VBS was done, the morning VBS was done, we were assigned different work projects each day, and we also had the opportunity of going to a home that was destroyed by a tornado. The tornado really actually touched down in their backyard, picked up a tree, and it landed on their garage. Their names were Betty and Rick, and they were the most sweet and kind people that I think I've met the whole week. They were so happy that we were there to help them tear down their garage and move the debris that was all over the place. And we literally could not get Betty and Rick to sit down. Like, we just were like, because they've already been working for like weeks and weeks on this, and we were like, you guys take a break, like let us take care of it. And they were like, no, we want to be in there and help you guys. And we ended up getting so much done, and they really appreciated it, and we're just so happy we could be there for them.
So one of the afternoon work projects I was put on was we went to this little old lady's house. Her name was Betty, and all she needed done was she needed some storm windows taken out and washed, and she needed her wood paneling wiped down, her cupboards wiped down. And it took us all of 10 minutes maybe. So we found other odd jobs to do around the house. Emma Hansen messed up a clock because she didn't realize there was glass on the top of it. When we cleaned the bathroom, we wiped down all the covers in the bathroom, we cleaned the stove, and then at the end we just sat and talked for a good 30 minutes just about her life, and we prayed for her, and she just really was super appreciative. We could totally tell she really enjoyed our time.
She and her husband actually put up this amazing flagpole in their front yard that was super tall, maybe 20 feet, and it was gorgeous back in the day, but then it got really rusted over, so our goal was to spray paint it.
And towards the end, Susan was so appreciative of all our work, and towards the end we got to sing the national anthem with her.
I was in a group with a couple other people. Went to Mary Lou's house, and she had an old flagpole that she wanted to get a new one of. So we ended up taking the old one out, and it was a really hard and long process. It was a huge concrete slab that was 2 feet deep in the ground, and it took forever to get out. But then we got the idea of taking a rope for getting it out, tied around. It took about 3 of us to pull the thing out, but we ended up getting the job done, and she was very thankful.
Thank you for your love and support, MGLC!